Hi everyone, welcome back to Novel Nomad and welcome to my Cloak and Dagger Christmas 2020 TBR. Now this is such an exciting video to do because, I don't know, there's something so exciting about doing a TBR. It's just getting all the hope of the books that you're possibly going to read and finish, and it's just so exciting. So let's start off with the group read that we will be reading for Cloak and Dagger Christmas this year is The Birds by Daphne du Maurier. It's more of a novella than a novel, so this is like other stories as well by Daphne du Maurier, but it's a really fun read to kind of sink your teeth into a Daphne du Maurier. And if you want to, you can always pair this up with the classic Alfred Hitchcock The Birds, because he did do a movie on this that made it super famous and popular. But I did really thoroughly love the book. I'm going to reread it again because it's just so much fun, but I do recommend. Okay, so I'm following mainly the prompts that we have, the Clue/Cluedo prompts that we did for this year, and I'm hoping to become Sherlock Holmes in the number of books that I can read and achieve all 9 prompts for this Cloak and Dagger Christmas. So starting off with prompt number 1, the study, which is a field that you studied at university, a field you're interested in, something related to your profession. So I studied English literature and history mainly, along with politics and things like that. But I thought, well, I mean, I work part-time, casually at a bookstore. I would love to read a book about books. Even though that is another prompt coming up later on, I definitely wanted to, you know, have that as a read. So I chose The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Now this has got all sorts of acclaim. The author has just recently passed away, and I still haven't read this book, even though I picked it up from a secondhand bookstore years ago and I still haven't read it. So this is the time I will read this book. Also, it is about a young boy whose father is an antique bookseller, and he just goes into this magical world about books. So it sounds like something that's right up my alley, and it's about a bookseller, so I could definitely get on that train. Prompt number 2 is library. So it's about books that reference books or books that you borrowed from the library. Now for this one, I wanted to do something a bit different. It's another more generic mystery rather than murder mystery, but it is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This one was highly recommended by Katie from Books and Things, and I take her recommendations very seriously because she always has great recommendations. But she recommended this book, and I've saw this amazing new cover. It's absolutely stunning, but it follows the life of a woman who's a famous writer, and she's always been wanting to write these very interesting stories that are inspired from her own life. And so then she draws this other woman who is to write the biography on her life, and it becomes, you know, do you believe what she's telling you about her life? Is it this kind of big fantastical reality, or is it the truth? So I think it has that great mystery/gothic element to it, which will be a really nice read for December. Prompt number 3 is The Hole. So this is a new to you subgenre, author or series. Now technically Patricia Highsmith isn't a new to me author. I've read Carol by her, or Price of Salt as it was titled as well, but I read it quite a while ago and I feel that it wasn't really one of her mysteries. So I'm counting that I'm going to be reading, I don't have my copy here because it isn't in from the library yet, I'm going to be reading Strangers on a Train. Now this is another one that was made into like a fantastic movie during like that golden age of 1940s, 50s, I can't remember actually, is it 60s? Movies that were made, and I just really cannot wait to read another Patricia Highsmith. Now I should probably read The Talented Mr. Ripley, but Strangers on a Train just sounds so fascinating. So it's that classic idea of 2 strangers get on a train, they sit across from each other and they tell each other their woes, and they think, if only someone could just, you know, kill that person for me and my life would be so much better. Well, then they decide to do just that, and you have to kind of see the consequences of that action. So it sounds absolutely riveting, and I cannot wait to read it and get my copy in from the library. Prompt number 4 is Billiard Room, and that is to be the next in a series or a book associated with sports. Now, next in a series that I am loving. I think I've read at least one of them every single Cloak and Dagger Christmas, just because it's that time of year and I want to continue with the series. And that is going to be Solari Gentile's next in the Roland St. Clair mysteries. I'm up to book number 3, Miles Off Course. This is like such a beautiful Australian landscape right there, but it's set in 1930s Australia. The first 2 books were amazing. This one is quite interesting because it's almost like a dinner party-esque. They're out in the country and one of the people disappear, so Roland St. Clair decides to, you know, go out searching for this person, but then all the other people want to join the search, and it's all the classic stockmen and belligerent writers, and you know, murder starts to happen around every corner and everyone's suspicious. So it sounds brilliant, but also brilliantly set in 1930s outback Australia. I am enjoying the concept going into this one. It might be the first off the ranks for my Cloak and Dagger reading. Prompt number 5 is Conservatory, so nature, travel, warm climate, something exotic. And so considering Australia is considered exotic to most everywhere in the world because it's so far away, and I have read Jane Harper's books before, and she always encapsulates nature as this kind of other, you know, really deadly character. So I'm going to be reading her latest novel, The Survivors. Now, this is, thankfully, a friend gave me this copy because I usually buy the small editions for these to all fit on my shelf, and that's not going to be out till next year, but I desperately need to read this before that time. And so she lent me her copy for the Cloak and Dagger readathon, which was wonderful. But this is set in coastal Australia, and it doesn't follow the character from The Dry, that Aaron Falk. It actually is once again a bit more of a standalone, set in the Australian coast, where it's not really heavy police presence again, but there's possibly 4 people involved, and you don't know who's telling the truth, who's trying to cover up, who's, like, you know, actually trying to get to the bottom of the truth but could potentially be damaging evidence along the way. So it sounds amazing, it sounds super duper intense, but of course coastal Australia is going to be somewhere warm and excellent, and nature is going to be evoked so often in this book. I know I'm going to enjoy it thoroughly. Alright, so I took a little bit of a creative license with the next one, mainly because I'm trying to read books on my shelf. And the next one is prompt number 6, which is Kitchen. So it's a food-based mystery, or like small town. And the only thing I think is relatively food-based about this entire book is the title. So this is the next in the Friday Fisher series for me. That's Raisins and Almonds. I was like binge reading them, and I started to slow down. But this is the next one. It's about the Jewish community in 1920s Melbourne, and a murder happens, and you can see this kind of burgeoning Zionist movement that was happening within this 1920s Jewish community. And I think this is just going to be such a fascinating read, especially for Friday Fisher, because it is quite different from the TV series in some respects, in her relationships and some of the side characters. So I'm very much looking forward to getting into the next Friday Fisher. So prompt number 7 is The Dining Room. Now this is a closed circle, dinner party, small group of friends, small village kind of mystery. And for that one I've chosen The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. Now this is such a fun little secondhand copy I found. It's very vintage. Even I love the cover of the actual hardcover underneath. And this one has got a lot of love. It's the next number 4 in the Poirot series. I've only read Murder on the Orient Express from Poirot before, but I'm very excited to get into another one. I believe it's Poirot goes on holiday to a small village, but of course murder follows him where he goes. Prompt number 8 is, of course, The Lounge, and that is to read a mystery from the Golden Age, so 1920s and 30s. Now, Roger Ackroyd would fall perfectly into that, but as I'm using that for my closed small town mystery, I am going to be reading Gaudy Night by Dorothy L. Sayers. I am mainly reading the Lord Peter Wimsey series, that whenever it features Harriet Vane, because I think the books just are absolutely amazing when she's in the fray. So this is Gaudy Night. I believe they go back to Oxford, or is it Cambridge? No, it doesn't let you know, but it goes to a college, basically a women's college where Harriet Vane went to, and it's, of course, Lord Peter Wimsey is called in to assist, and she is very disheartened about that. So yes, this looks excellent, and it is written during that time and also set during that time, and Dorothy L. Sayers is a lot of fun. If you haven't read any of hers before, I do highly recommend. So prompt number 9 is Ballroom. So to read a mystery that features a party, a dinner, it could be a dinner party. I'm actually going to be reading one that features a tea party. So this is Robin Stevens's A Murder Most Unladylike. I read the first one last year for Cloak and Dagger Christmas and absolutely loved it. So Arsenic for Tea is book 2 in the series, and I'm very excited to be reading this because it's when they go to her friend's place, Daisy. They go to Daisy's grandmother's house or aunt's house? Her aunt, and the aunt holds a big tea party, but someone dies, and so the girls are on the case again. It's very, very fun and highly enjoyable. I do recommend. But yeah, so they're what I'm planning to read for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. Let me know what you've got planned on your TBR, and if you have filmed or posted your TBR, let me know down below and we can discuss all these wonderful mysteries that we'll be reading in the month of December. Alright, so I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time. Bye.